Good afternoon, and welcome to Cap Village. For viewers who may not be familiar with you, please introduce yourself and tell us what inspired you to run for governor of Florida.
My name is Frank Russo, and what inspired me to run for Florida is change of leadership. I believe companies rise and fall on leadership, and I see Florida needs a new set of leadership, and I'm the leader for Florida based on my experience in business and humanity.
Your campaign slogan is humanity over the dollar. What does that philosophy mean in practical terms, and how would it influence your decisions as governor?
Humanity of a dollar is very simple. It's putting people first. Currently in the state of Florida, we've been putting corporations first, infrastructure before people. So putting people before profits. That's what humanity of a dollar means.
Property insurance is one of the biggest concerns facing Florida homeowners. Your campaign proposes major insurance reforms, including a hurricane-only coverage model. How would your plan work, and how would it help lower costs for Floridians?
Well, that's my industry of expertise. I spent 40 years in that industry, and I was trained by the best. I was with Allstate Insurance for 40 years. I was 17 years with them, 40 years in the industry. What that did was train me on how risks are analyzed. And the one thing I know is that I'm more qualified than any other candidate in the race. And my plan is very simple. We are going to reform the company we own, Citizens Property Insurance Group, and we will create a policy that will keep the families in their home. And it will be affordable, and it will be based on a risk that we prepare for, but we cannot control Mother Nature. So my policy is going to be very simple. Floridians first, putting them before profits.
You have called for significant investments in teachers, skilled trades, and preparing students for an AI-driven economy. What specific changes would you make to Florida's education system to accomplish those goals?
Well, first, I want to thank the teachers because if it wasn't for the teachers, I wouldn't be here today as far as business. I have been very successful in business, and I would never have gotten here if the teachers didn't train me on what I would need to know in order to survive, in order to compete. So again, my position is focusing on teachers and children and putting them in a place where they're motivated and not intimidated, and making sure they're paid to scale. That's the key. Motivation. Self-esteem is more important than IQ. So my position is with children, build their self-esteem and their IQ. Now, the number one thing I'm going to do in the high schools, bring back trades. I grew up in high schools where we had trades, plumbing, electrical, welding. We need those now. We have 500,000 jobs available in the state of Florida. We can fill those jobs. We can have jobs ready immediately right after high school. I just need to motivate the students and let them know everybody can't be an influencer, but I can create employment. I'm a leader in that industry. I've created jobs over my 40 years.
Affordable housing remains a challenge across Florida. Your campaign proposes a new mixed-income house initiative. How would your plan increase housing opportunities while keeping communities affordable?
Well, as a leader, I understand plans and how to evaluate them. Currently, with my understanding that a plan that we have a plan in the state of Florida. We have a law most people don't even know about. It's called Florida Live Local Act. And that act, it creates housing for low income and workforce. So it's a great program, great law. It's already in effect. We just need to motivate the builders and motivate the citizens, the Floridians, to get involved and get the trades involved to start producing those particular housing in the state of Florida.
One of your proposals is to eliminate property taxes on qualifying primary residents while reducing government spending. How would you ensure local governments can continue funding essential public services?
Well, what's taking place in the local governor is this property tax relief. I'm 100% for that. What that does is provide freedom to the people. It provides quality life. Anytime you put more money into the Floridians' pocket, that provides them more freedom and more quality. So as far as property tax relief, I think that is, I need to build on it. As a leader, I'll take it one step further. Instead of up to 250, I'm going to take it to 500, which is going to benefit 92% of the homes in the state of Florida. I'll also have programs in place where renters can afford to have relief when it comes time to paying their insurance. So I'll have a benefit for the renters and a benefit for the homeowners that they can help with the affordability, cost of living.
Your platform emphasizes leadership accountability, including donating your gubernatorial salary and reducing government waste. What other reforms would you pursue to increase transparency and restore public trust in the state government?
Well, trust is very important. That's what we lack a lot in Florida right now. Our leaders have let us down over the whole state as far as trust. We need more transparency. You're a young man, and I'm sure you know technology better than most when it comes to AI. So transparency is the key. Everything we're doing in the government should be transparent to the Floridians. So we need to make sure we create AI systems that bring out every little detail where the workforce can understand it. Now we know all these high-end labels that people carry, their titles. Some people can understand it, the engineers better than others. However, my plan is to talk to the workforce. Keep it very simple. Here's how to understand how to balance budgets. The government needs to provide us a balanced budget where everybody can understand where every dollar is going. So transparency, accountability are my number one thing. And now as far as my salary, I believe no government official should depend on a salary if you're going into office. You should be a proven leader. And if you're a proven leader out there, you will not depend on the government, the taxpayers' money. So as a leader, I'm giving up my salary to put skin in the game. I believe in my leadership. I don't need taxpayers' money. I could take care of myself. My position is humanity over the dollar. That is focusing on humanity, not the dollar. So if you're a leader and you're focusing on the dollar, you are not a leader for the people. You are a leader for return on investment.
Election integrity is another key part of your campaign. What specific measures do you believe are necessary to ensure Florida elections remain both secure and accessible to eligible voters?
Yeah, that's we're getting all over the states as far as the narrative. The narrative now is how do we make it more transparent in these elections? How do we make sure the ballots are clean? I believe in modern day technology. So we still keep humans involved on the front line, but we enhance technology. If that includes artificial intelligence, then we must carry forward to make sure every vote is counted and protected.
Before entering politics, you spent decades in the insurance and business industries. How have those experiences prepared you to lead one of the nation's largest and fastest growing states?
Yes, and again, you're trying to pick a leader that understands that companies rise and fall on leadership. The same with government, everything's leadership. So if you're going to pick a leader in the state of Florida, look at his track record. Has he ever run a business? How many employees did he have in that business? Did he motivate them? Did he intimidate them? And did he sell the business? So you can run a business, but how do you are measured in business? By what you created and what you were able to provide for other people. So again, leadership is very important in any organization because they rise and fall on that leader. So as a leader, you're going to know me as a man of actions. I don't associate with people with words. Words are very cheap, but if you want actions and you want an action leader, you have the right one here.
Florida faces a variety of challenges, from rising insurance premiums and housing costs to infrastructure and workforce development. If elected, what would be your top 3 priorities during your first 100 days in office?
Yeah, so number one is what are the needs of the Floridians? And I travel the state. You know what the number one needs are? Affordability. Can you keep me in my home? Can you lower my expenses? I can't afford the food. I can't afford the rent. I can't afford the insurance. So that is my focus, humanity over the dollar. Put in people first. What are your needs? So when you come to me, I will show you this is what the families, how we work with the legislative, how we take and manage budgets. That's the key. I will show that I will set enough money aside to protect our essential services, but make sure there's families that are protected in the state of Florida.
Many Floridians have different priorities depending on where they live, whether it's rural communities, suburban neighborhoods, or major cities. How would you ensure that your administration serves all Florida fairly and balances the diverse needs of communities across the state?
Yes, well, the key first is you have to remember that we're all human. And the only thing that separates us is politics, religion, and egos. So you take each community. As a leader, you should be walking in those communities, not sitting up in Tallahassee dictating orders. So I will visit every community, listen to the needs of that community, and try to put action plans together. So we must develop a process in every community to make sure the community's needs are served.
Many Floridians have different priorities depending on where they live, whether, oh, I'm sorry, I had asked that question. As an independent candidate, how do you plan to work with legislators from both major parties to advance your agenda and build consensus on important issues?
Well, I think Florida's prime now for an independent candidate because we've been focusing so much on party lines. There's been so much argumentative nonsense and noise about what party is to blame. That blame game is over. Leadership is about accountability. When you lead, you take full accountability in your actions. I don't need to blame another party. That is a poor leader. When you start blaming other people for your accountability, you are not the proper leader. So if you hear anybody running for office and they're blaming the party system, that is a person that doesn't take leadership. He finds accountability with somebody else. We do not need anybody else in office who blames somebody else for their action. The governor is in control of the state of Florida. He controls the budgets. He has veto power. So the leader in Florida must have the ability to lead with accountability and transparency.
Finally, what message would you like to leave with Florida voters, and why do you believe you are the right person to serve as the state's next governor?
Why I believe I should be and will be the next governor is because the people in the state of Florida, the Floridians, are looking for someone to trust and believe in. I'm going to build their trust and show them that when I say humanity over the dollar, I'm going to serve the Floridians first and the dollar second. Now, I understand we need the dollar. However, I will show them how you balance a budget and you stand by the budget, focusing on humanity.
We thank you for taking time to speak with us at Cap Village, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yes, thank you for your time.